Here are your spoilers for Beyond the Gates. On Wednesday, August 6th, 2025, Hayley has been suspicious of her husband's involvement with his ex-family members, the Duprees. After Nicole came around yelling about murder, Hayley has been asking questions, lots of questions. This looks a lot like deflection, so she doesn't have to answer questions regarding her baby, or non-baby, as the case may be. In Wednesday's episode, Hayley calls in a mysterious favor, another mystery phone call to a mystery person, and the plot thickens. It's coming up to crunch time, and Hayley will have to show something regarding the little human life growing inside her. No pressure, Hayley. When Danny is down, there is a constant that she can depend upon, and that constant is her bestie, Pamela. Danny got the shock when Pamela told her that her idea was to get the company noticed and generate the buzz required to launch it properly. This idea was to get Danny to return to the modeling world one more time. The name Danny Dupree still turns heads and gets investors and fans excited. In Wednesday's episode, Pamela puts Danny on the spot. The Duprees have only recently learned that Bill Hamilton played a critical role in solving the problem that was haunting Martin. The Duprees have always been more than happy to have Bill sort out issues in his way, so that they can keep their image and hands clean. This time is too much for them. The man who had returned and had been threatening Martin is now dead. A plan concocted by Bill and Joey and executed by Detective Marcel Malone. Everyone has had a go at Bill for this. Well, almost. In Wednesday's episode, Naomi clashes with Bill over his involvement with Joey. Another blow and setback to returning things to normal between Bill and his daughters. Stay tuned, soap fans. We're at the midpoint for the week, and big things are brewing. Besties are always there for each other and never really gone. But that's all I'm going to say on that. Hey babes, welcome back to Gossip Delight. It's your girl Daisy, and trust me, today's tea is scorching, steamy, and absolutely unmissable. Buckle up, because we're diving straight into the drama. Beyond the Gates spoilers for Tuesday, August 5th imply that Doug McBride will land in hot water, while his wife, Vanessa McBride, will get some unwanted attention. It sounds like Doug will make another major mistake while at work in the hospital. Doug has done this once before when he allowed his gambling addiction to take over his life, so another error while on the job won't be a good thing. Doug is a surgeon, so even the smallest mishap could have massive implications for his patient. Added teasers for the August 5th episode hint that Ted Richardson will call Doug out on what he has done. But could he also get suspended from his job? Speaking of Doug, Vanessa is used to living an extravagant lifestyle as a high-end realtor. However, someone will take notice of her extra cash flow she's attained recently, which may land her in trouble. As fans know, she's got this money laundering scheme going on with Joey Armstrong, so the last thing Vanessa wants to do is garner extra attention to the added money she has. People will wonder where it's coming from, and Fairmont Crest is bad for gossip and speculation. With that said, who will take notice? It would seem fair that Nicole Richardson may raise an eyebrow, but considering the issues Nicole has on her plate, that seems unlikely. Lastly, Beyond the Gate. Spoilers for the August 5th episode note that Ashley Morgan will get advice from her mom, Jan Morgan. Ashley's feelings are torn between her ex-boyfriend, Derek Baldwin, and the one that got away, aka her friend Andre Richardson. The last time Ashley and Jan had a talk, Jan had a sense that her daughter had feelings for the freelance photographer, Playboy. Will her mother encourage Ashley to go for it? After all, what does she have to lose? Beyond the Gates spoilers hint that Andre will admit his feelings to Ashley later on this week, and the two will share a steamy kiss. So this talk between the mom and daughter just might be the push Ashley needs to follow her heart and pursue something with Fairmont Crest's resident hottie. On Beyond the Gates, Bill Hamilton appears to be on the precipice of a life-changing revelation, one that may not be for the better. His wife may be hiding a terrible secret. For quite some time now, we at home have thought there is something really shifty going on with Hayley Hamilton. Whenever talk turns to doctor's visits or getting the checkup for the baby, she gets this sneaky, oh crap look on her face. We're not the only ones with suspicions, though. Danny Dupree has been very vocal the whole time that Hayley was just trying to get her claws into Bill. That could have been all put down to a scorned ex at first, But there have been more and more signs now. Garland Memorial Hospital nurse, Ashley, heard Hayley talk about the ultrasound results and how the baby looked fine. A few moments later, another nurse was talking, and Ashley asked what we all wanted to know. Did the ultrasound show a healthy baby? The nurse replied, "What ultrasound? Hayley had refused to have one." Well, now that got people talking, but there was more to come. Another day at Orphe Jeans, Ashley overheard Hayley talking about food cravings, and Ashley asked if she was already having those, as they were a symptom present during another trimester. Hayley fumbled her way through that, and miraculously, she brought home some stills taken from an ultrasound showing a healthy baby. I said a healthy baby because it could have been anyone's at this point. Nothing on the stills said her name or the doctor's name, time taken, etc. So is the pregnancy being faked, as Danny suspects? Or for drama, is it just being shown that way so we would suspect it? Well, they say the proof is in the pudding, but today it was with breakfast. Hayley showed up at Bill's office, bringing French toast as he had rushed out the door to get to work. Hayley then proceeded to trip on an errant box in the middle of the floor and went for a flight. Hurling her arms in the air and Bill's breakfast, she then crashed heavily to the floor. It wasn't as comical as Brooke Logan falling off Nick Marone's powerboat in The Bold and the Beautiful, but it was close. Upon dusting herself off, the expectant father was furious that a box dared be left on the floor in his office. It's not like it was camouflaged and lurking at all. But here's where things became interesting. Bill insisted that Hayley get herself checked out, and she fought the idea like crazy, demanding that mothers are not made of glass, and it would be wasting the doctor's time. When Bill told her that the doctors were all booked up anyway, Hayley looked so relieved, like the pressure was off now. Then Bill said to her that, luckily, the doctor could squeeze her in first thing the next morning. Hayley looked genuinely terrified now, and Bill said he was going to take time off to be there. He wanted to hold her hand through it all and see with his own eyes that their baby was fine. With his own eyes, that's what freaked her out. Hayley's eyes were whizzing like a pinball in the machine. Searching for a way to stall it or get it canceled, Bill said he was going to fly out to Atlanta to do a deposition, and he would fly back later that night and be ready to take her to the doctors in the morning. Hayley knows that time is short, and she has until morning to find a solution to her dilemma. But what will she do? A night out at Uptown is going to prove to be what she has in mind, cause a scene, and say that there is something wrong with her baby. Is this the ploy of a desperate woman? All the signs point to this being a monumental cover-up, and Bill might just be in for the shock of his life. How will Bill react to being deceived? On Beyond the Gates, Bill has been on the other end of these things for a while now, but having it done to him, we may just see some more of the bad boy, Bill Hamilton, and his rage explode over Fairmont Crest. Is the pregnancy being faked? Leave your thoughts below in the comments. Hayley takes Bill breakfast at the office, only to trip and fall over a box. Although the mom-to-maybe-be insists she's fine, Bill wants to take her to the hospital. Hayley fights, hard, against going to the hospital. Doth the lady protest too much? Is this further proof supporting those who think she's faking the pregnancy? We may soon know, as Bill gets his wife an appointment for the next day and says he plans to attend with her. Why? He wants to be there for the latest ultrasound. Ted reads Doug the riot act following an almost botched surgery, while Vanessa's money laundering efforts send up red flags with her banker. As talk of potential malpractice suits swirl, Doug plays the old, "You can't fire me, 'cause I quit" card. Ted's efforts to change his pal's mind only lead to Doug making a few pointed remarks about Nicole kicking him to the curb before storming out. Meanwhile, a worried Nicole, hearing the end of Vanessa's conversation with her accountant and knowing she's mixed up with Joey, demands to know what's going on. Once Nicole leaves Vanessa alone, Doug calls to say that if she's going to be the queen of money laundering, he'll be the king. By using what he knows about Joey's dealings, Vanessa dashes off to meet Joey, who reveals he bugged Doug's car and knows everything. "I learned 2 things this morning," Joey says darkly. 1, your husband thinks he can blackmail me, and 2, you've gotten very comfortable lying to my face. She promises to keep her husband in line, after which she and Joey give in to their passions. Fresh off her conversation with Vanessa, Nicole has breakfast with Carlton, They discuss the previous night's concert and his childhood fear of rabbits. Most importantly, he makes her laugh and suggests they have dinner one night. At that moment, Ted walks up to make sure Nicole is okay after her latest encounter with Leslie/Dana. She says she's fine, and Ted clearly can tell he's interrupted something other than a casual breakfast. Ashley's mom is stoked to hear that she and Derek had a heartfelt conversation, only to be disappointed that it didn't lead to a reunion. But Ashley thinks she needs to explore the world and its options more before settling down. Jan quickly realizes her daughter is giving her a reading from the book of Andre. Men like that don't change their flight patterns, warns Jan, sure that eventually the player will do what players do and hurt Ash. Ashley goes on and on about how she could be a traveling nurse, going wherever Andre's work takes him. You sound like one of those starry-eyed girls from reality TV walking off a cliff while the whole world watches, says Jan, as exhausted with her offspring as I am. Some men are like hurricanes. They blow through your life, leave everything in shambles, and then move on. After a passionate night, Danny says she's going to do something for Andre she's never done for any man before. Get your mind out of the gutter. She means make breakfast. His mind drifts to his recent dinner with Ashley, prompting a spicy Danny to say she'll be fine if he decides his bland, unseasoned French meal of a nurse is the woman for him. Danny points out that Andre is too exciting and dangerous for Ashley, and he'll only break her heart. Andre swears he and Ashley are just friends, but that could change when she calls and asks him to come to her apartment. Barbara finally got her due in the Monday, August 4th episode of BTG. The Articulates' comeback concert beautifully ended on Beyond the Gates. Anita, with Andre's help, paid tribute to the group's founder, the person responsible for the whole evening, really. In addition, Danny and Andre kissed in public, and Martin and Smitty both represented alongside their kids. Nicole had words for Leslie, and Carlton tried to get some alone time with the psychiatrist. During the comeback concert, Anita stopped everything, and she told the true Articulates' origin story. She paid tribute to Barbara and backed it up with a video of the four women when they were little girls. Anita even told the world about Barbara's tragic death, and on top of that, she took the blame for it. All the blame for it. The moment, the video, and the entire concert were touching, emotional, heartbreaking, and joyous. It furthered Anita's healing and provided closure for the Articulates, which was what Anita needed. She has decided to stick around the home front while Jim, the agent, is setting up a tour for Tracy and Sharon. It would have been nice if they had also taken some of the blame for what happened to Barbara. There's no way Anita is the only one who should be bearing the guilt here. Danny and Andre kissing in the concert seats for everybody to see was unexpected. Every time we think these two are fading, they come back strong. So now, Andre has to step up. Danny wants to be public, she's telling her family. And she's ready to face her family's very vocal opinions about her love life. Does Danny surprising him like that mean they will be exclusive? Or will he still want to spend time with Ashley? In the BTG weekly video preview, it looks like Ashley and Andre are still exploring. So with Danny raising the stakes a little with Andre, he has some decisions to make. Smitty and Martin weren't just at the comeback concert at the same time. Smitty even showed up for a quick second at the after-party. First, Anita and Smitty connected, and he acknowledged her goddessness. But, of course, it was also a little awkward, considering he was angry at Anita and Vernon for their part in the cover-up. He got that they did it out of love for Martin, although he's not there yet. And then some of his residual anger and sadness erupted when he talked to Martin. He said it was still going to take him a while to get past the lies of the last 2 years. That is, if he could eventually get over those lies. He's having a hard time getting beyond what Martin hid from him for so long. They want each other. That's still true, but that's not enough right now. The only thing that is needed, in their case, is time. And maybe some therapy for Martin. Can Martin and Smitty save their marriage? Will Andre shut the door on Ashley now that Danny and Andre have gone public? Has Anita truly healed, or does she still need time? What did you think of the concert? Let us know in the comments. Here's what went down Tuesday, August 5th, 2025, on Beyond the Gates, when Jan and Ashley argued over stability. The numbers crunched Vanessa instead of the other way around. and Ted found Nicole doing the Carlton. On Beyond the Gates, Ted berated an ambivalent Doug, who had once again put a heart surgery patient in jeopardy because of his distractedness. Doug didn't care that the hospital board had been discussing his errors. Ted warned that Doug could lose his medical license. After Doug blew the news off as gossip, Ted revealed that some wanted to suspend him until he got his act together. Doug was affronted that he was being targeted after his decades of work which had forced him to miss anniversaries and birthdays at home. Ted offered to be a sounding board for whatever was bothering Doug, and opined that the board would be sympathetic if Doug were having personal problems. But Doug quit on the spot. Ted advised Doug not to do anything hasty. Doug implied that he might have something better lined up and boasted that Vanessa came from old money. Plus, Doug sneered to Ted, at least his marriage was intact. Ted was willing to ignore the insult, but Doug bid him good riddance and stormed out the door. At the country club, Vanessa's accountant was alarmed that her real estate firm was suddenly bringing in far more money than it had been on average. Vanessa thought back to Joey's proposal to double the amount he was laundering through her business and covered that she was amassing funds for a commercial property buy. The accountant was more interested in the source of the income than its purpose, and all but accused Vanessa of lying to him. Nicole overheard. Vanessa described the capital as coming from a simple investment partnership and shooed the accountant away in favor of catching up with her friend. Vanessa gushed about the Articulettes concert and asked Nicole when the next one would be, but Nicole met the subject change with worry that Vanessa was playing with fire by being involved with Joey, a man whose unscrupulousness went beyond his casino. After Nicole's point seemed to be proven by Vanessa receiving an urgent text from Mr. Armstrong, Vanessa took a private call from Doug and learned that he had resigned from the hospital. Doug announced that he was no longer playing by the rules since Vanessa had chosen not to. If she was going to be the queen of money laundering, he added derisively, he would be the king. He planned to live off of the profits from their arrangement with Joey, plus use his power that came from knowing enough about Joey to bury him. Vanessa picked up her purse and raced out of the banquet area as Nicole watched, concerned. Vanessa went to Joey and alerted him that his influx of cash into her business was liable to get her flagged by the IRS. She didn't want to get arrested for tax fraud and demanded that Joey concoct a credible cover story she could give her accountant for the discrepancy. Joey felt that Doug and his mouth were the bigger problems, especially with all the free time Doug had just given himself. Vanessa was shocked that Joey already knew about Doug's resignation and said that her husband had been threatening to quit for months, but she was struck dumb when Joey played her the phone conversation she'd just had with Doug, in which he intimated he could blackmail Joey. Armstrong was irked by how easily it had become for Vanessa to lie to his face. Joey pshawed that he had only bugged Doug's car, then wondered if he could trust Vanessa to bring him all pertinent information. Vanessa insisted that Joey could rely on her, but felt that surveillance had been a step too far. She hadn't mentioned Doug bailing on the hospital because she thought she could still salvage his career. There was no need for Joey to stress about being exposed, as long as Doug had heart surgery to keep him busy. Besides, Mrs. McBride put forth, Doug was really just a weak man drowning in his vices. His bluster was just talk. Joey ordered Vanessa to keep Doug in line, or else Doug would get hurt. Afterwards, Vanessa and Joey kissed passionately. Nicole greeted Carlton, who had traced Leslie's appearance at the concert to her getting her hands on one of the tickets meant only for clinic staff. Carlton admitted he had seated himself next to Ted's mistress to try and mitigate any problems she might cause. The two noticed that Ted hadn't made an appearance at the show, and Nicole shared her complaint about Ted, but not just Ted, keeping secrets from her. Carlton swore that he was an open book, which, as a psychiatrist, intrigued Nicole. They laughed as he admitted being afraid of rabbits as a child, though he explained that the animal had taken a chunk out of his friend's hand, which had inspired him to become a doctor. "So something good came out of your bunny trauma," Nicole winked. Carlton had just started asking Nicole out to dinner when Ted arrived. Ted frowned when Nicole smiled that seeing Carlton had been an unexpected pleasure. Ashley got together with her mom at Orphe Jeans and revealed how Derek had come to her for a reconciliation. Jan was pleased and had predicted the overture, But her face fell when Ashley declared that Derek's move-in date would be the day after never. Ashley explained that she thought Derek had been what she wanted, but she'd come to see that there was a sizable disconnect in their values. Jan felt there wasn't anything wrong with Derek's brand of stability, especially since it would prevent Ashley from repeating Jan's experiences. Ashley stated that she had been reconsidering her perfunctory outlook, which confused Jan, until Jan learned that Ashley had been spending time with Andre. It was news to Ashley that Jan had had suspicions about Ashley's interest in Andre, which Jan had never vocalized. Ashley acknowledged that she had initially thought of Andre as a player, but now she found him to be quite compassionate. Jan wrote it off as a ploy to get Ashley into bed. Ashley retorted that Andre had brought anything romantic to a standstill, while Jan labeled it a tactic to make Ashley think she was special. "Maybe I am," Ashley decided. The nurse couldn't understand why Jan thought it impossible that a man like Andre could care about her. Jan expressed concern over how Ashley would cope when Andre inevitably took off again. Ashley felt that Jan was projecting her own experiences onto her. Jan likened it to being protective, aghast that her daughter would throw everything with Derek away for a Rolling Stone photographer. Jan didn't want to hear Ashley's contention that she could be a nurse anywhere that Andre's job took him. Ashley waved off her mother's talk of building tenure at one hospital and proclaimed she could learn about medical practices in other parts of the world. She concurred that Derek had indeed supported her dreams, but maintained that Andre had as well, continuing that her dreams might be bigger than she had initially realized. Jan recollected how she had changed her own life for a man once, but doing so hadn't made him love her. She counseled Ashley that some men were like hurricanes who blew through, caused damage, and moved on. Ashley's mom was positive that Andre was only going to end up breaking her heart. Jacob finished a workout with Derek, who was angry that Ashley had excavated his heart and put it through a wood chipper. Derek realized he had been petulant in leaving Ashley after she had turned down his marriage proposal, and that he had waited too long to approach her again. "Damn, Andre," Derek growled. Jacob recalled that he had warned Derek about Andre when the photographer came home to the DMV. Derek had begun thinking that there was something between Andre and Ashley beyond her trying to make him jealous. Baldwin scoffed that it was perfect that Ashley had stopped wanting something permanent, since Andre certainly couldn't provide such for her. Derek surprised Jacob by divulging that he had tried to move on with Ashley's boss, Shanice. Jacob defined the move as messy. Derek didn't disagree, but pointed out that he and Shanice had only flirted. Danny woke up to find Andre looking at coverage of the previous night's Articulettes concert on his phone. Andre refused to take any credit for its success, saying that the tribute he created to honor Barbara was just a slideshow. Danny was awed by Andre's work on her before they went to sleep and offered to return the favor. Later, Andre was astonished to see Danny fixing breakfast, assuming she'd had staff to prepare meals. Danny reminded him that she had raised 2 children and went on to say that Anita had wanted her and Nicole to master the simpler skills she had been taught in the projects. The former model added that she had to do something out of the box to compete with the wholesome Ashley. After Danny wowed Andre with her spicy egg dish, she dismissed French cuisine as bland, which had Andre recalling Ashley's joy over the Parisian meal he had served her. When Danny again brought the topic to Ashley, Andre brushed it off, saying he and Ashley were just friends. Danny claimed she'd be fine if Andre chose someone that bland over her, but Andre remembered the scene Danny had made when she saw Andre and Ashley having dinner together. With no sarcasm, Danny hailed Ashley as sweet and uncomplicated, which made her the wrong man for Andre. He listened as Danny advised him against breaking Ashley's heart, which would send the young woman spiraling. Andre held that Ashley was more complex than Danny gave her credit for, but let Danny know that nothing had happened between him and the caregiver. Just as Andre was telling Danny she had nothing to worry about, Ashley called, requesting that he meet her at his apartment. Caroline worked with Bill in his office, approving of her boss being back on his game after his lengthy preoccupation. Hayley came in with breakfast for Bill, but in bringing to it him, she tripped over a box of files. Bill blasted Caroline for leaving the box out as they helped Hayley to her feet. Hayley said she was fine, but Bill asked about the baby and wanted a doctor's opinion. When Hayley resisted, Bill cited how dismissing the numbness in his hand had led to his stroke, and he alleged that his wife was being reckless with his child. Hayley claimed she knew her own body, but Bill wouldn't take no for an answer and called in to make her an appointment. Afterwards, he reported that Hayley's doctor was booked solid and that he had been told it wasn't necessary for Hayley to go to the emergency room. Hayley was ready to move on until Bill mentioned he had been able to secure an appointment for her the following morning. He'd be flying to Atlanta that night on business, but he'd be back in time to accompany her. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.